the Mercedes C-Class. Now, having one of these on your drive lets your neighbours know that you have made a success out of your life. It's just so stylish, so sleek, so elegant, and that three-pointed star, well, it's a trophy. It's much better than having something like this. And inside, the car is equally as beautiful. In fact, slipping into a Mercedes C-Class is a bit like strapping on an expensive handmade Swiss watch. And this is not some facade with some cheap quartz movement underneath either, because everywhere you feel, all the materials are very high quality. Mercedes haven't scrimped on cubby spaces either. It's not bad for this class of car. There we go, little bowl in the side door bin. In terms of equipment, it's impressive as well. All models get a reversing camera, and you also get man-made leather seats. And I know what you're thinking, man-made leather. Believe me, I'd rather have that than the cloth trim you get as standard in an Audi A4. What you want to do though is step up to the sports model, which this car is, because you get extra design trinkets inside the cabin and sat-nav as standard. Though it is a cheapo Garmin sat-nav. Now you control it using this swivel wheel and touchpad, and well, the system's all right, but it's not as good as you'll find in either BMWs or Audis. And you can see our full review of the system by clicking on the card in the top right-hand corner of the screen to see our in-depth infotainment review. Overall then, the Mercedes C-Class is pretty blooming lovely here in the front. As for the back, well, the feeling of quality, that continues. For instance, if you look down here, at the back seats, you have actual folders like in an airplane, not just some nets as you do in other cars. Of course, it's a Mercedes. But in terms of space for rear passengers, yeah, some of its rivals do fare better, such as the Audi A4. I'm sitting up straight, I'm 5'11", and I've barely got enough headroom, so someone over 6 foot is really going to struggle. Also, the middle seat, well, the footwells are quite small. You've got this big hump which takes up a lot of space. So yeah, the middle seat, I think we'll leave that for your intern. So really, overall, there are better cars for taking your colleagues to that insurance seminar. Now, if you click on the top right hand corner of the screen, you can see exactly what happened when we tried to squeeze 3 people in the back of this car and install a baby seat. Plus, you can see just how much stuff we managed to cram into the boot. Speaking of which, the outright capacity of the C-Class's boot is on a par with its rivals, and it's practical enough. The only issue I have is the fact that this tailgate opening there is just a little bit curved, which does hamper practicality somewhat, but on the whole I can't complain too much. One thing I can complain about is that if you want fold down rear seats on the entry level model, you have to pay extra for those, but they're standard on the higher spec versions, and when you have them you can really carry long items in this car because you get a nice flat low bay. And check this out, right, if you've got feeble wrists and you, oh dear, I can't quite shut this tailgate, all C-Classes as standard get an automated one. So yeah, thank God for that, eh?
The C-Class has some other features which are more useful. Here's 5 of them.
The sat-nav knows when you're in a tunnel and turns off the air vents to prevent fumes entering the cabin. The car can drive and steer itself at speeds of up to 37 miles an hour. After that, I guess you're on your own. The central locking has been specifically engineered to make an upmarket sounding clunk. The car can spot if you've entered a no entry and will tell you off for going the wrong way. The high beam masks oncoming traffic to prevent dazzling.
The C-Class isn't perfect though. Here's some annoying things about it.
In UK cars, the driving position is a little bit offset, so you can feel a touch twisted behind the wheel. The shortcut buttons for the infotainment system aren't with the controller, they're up there. The 2.1 litre diesel engine is pretty noisy. Sounds like it belongs in a van, not a car. At the moment, you can't get the car in the UK with all-wheel drive. Why? The standard infotainment screen is a bit like a cheap knockoff iPad.
To be fair, this Mercedes doesn't really need to be four-wheel drive, as it's very secure on the road.
This Mercedes C-Class, it really takes the sting out of long motorway journeys. Its cabin is nice and quiet, the seats are really comfortable, and it feels planted when you're going quickly, especially if you've got the optional air suspension, which is unique in this class. Now, if you can't stretch to that setup, you've got 3 choices. So there's the nice and soft comfort suspension in the SE model, which unfortunately just feels a bit too roly-poly in the corners. Then there's the really hard, sporty suspension in the AMG line, which is just too firm and fidgets about all over the place. Now, the best bet is the one in this car. This is the sport model and it has a happy midpoint, so you get good handling and decent comfort, and it's the one that I recommend you go for. Visibility in this car is pretty much the same as its rivals, so Not bad for a saloon, not quite as good as a hatchback. And you can see for yourself by clicking the top right hand corner of the screen on the card to watch our 360-degree video. In terms of engines, you can have petrol power, you can have hybrid power, you can have diesel power, which obviously is going to be the most popular. This is the 250 CDI, so it's a 2.1 litre diesel engine, and it's got just over 200 horsepower, and that's good for 0 to 60 in not much more than 6 seconds, so it feels really quick. Yeah, it gives good economy too. So Mercedes says 65 miles per gallon. The trip computer says 51 miles per gallon, which isn't bad at all. Now, I would recommend you spend extra to get this engine, though most people would probably be fine with the slightly cheaper 220 CDI, which has the same engine, but with just a bit less power. One thing you've got to spend extra on though is the automatic gearbox, because Mercedes manual is a little bit yuck. And really, should you have to change gears yourself in a Mercedes? Dear God, no. So then, overall, what do I think of the Mercedes C-Class? Well, that 2.1 litre diesel engine is a bit noisy and rear headroom a touch tight, but it's a super luxurious car and it's a really relaxing cruiser. Now, if you click up there, you can see more information and find out the best deal you can get on a C-Class at carwow.co.uk. Thanks for watching. Click over there for our group test video between the Mercedes C-Class, the Audi A4, the Jaguar XE and the BMW 3 Series. And if you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it and subscribe to our channel. Now, did you know that the C-Class actually replaced the Mercedes 190 back in 1993 and is now in its 4th generation?